Welcome to Late Fun Guys, playoff edition. Habs pull off a huge victory last night, winning 3-2 in overtime. Yes, Barry Kakanyemi gets the goal. Two power play goals. Mark, you are a big believer in the Habs. Um, Looks like they just took it to the Leafs. It's a completely different team.
Yeah, they took it to the Leafs. What a performance. They played a very strong game, particularly the first 50 minutes. They deserved to be up after two periods of scoreless play. And finally, they got the result with a big goal. Corey Perry, what an acquisition right in front of the net. That's where you find him, chips it in. That was a terrible call by the coach of the Leafs to challenge that.
He
Uh,
waited forever. He took like
It took
two
forever to
minutes.
give him forever,
Yeah,
which I don't get, number one. But then to decide to go for it. And I think that he probably did it because the Habs power play was so terrible this whole series. He's like, whatever, I'll do it.
yeah.
But
I would have done the same. I would have done the same. They
yeah,
hadn't scored in 15 chances before that.
I know, but it's still an extra 2 minutes that the Leafs could use on offense with that firepower. Like one goal is nothing for them. So I thought it was a bad move. And then Marner, of course, you can't predict Marner's going to chip it over the ice, and he's getting grilled today on social media. And anyways, I mean, he has no goals, so just you tighten your stick, you throw it over the ice, and that over the boards, and yeah, that led to another goal and 2-0. You think, okay, Habs got this, but the key turning point was that Jack Campbell save when it was 2-0. You even heard the CBC announcer say, hey, that we will remember this point. And what happens? Of course, the Leafs get two goals after that. Uh, Off of Petrie's leg. It wasn't his fault. I think Stahl did a terrible dump in. I think Anderson could have forechecked better, and it just left a pit in your stomach because you saw the tide turn, and has maybe got one or two shots from that point onward. But KK saves the day. Carey Price was resilient, and what a win in front of 2,500 fans. It did make a difference, and we're off to Game 7. What more do you want? Series got off to a pretty slow start, but I'm sure pumped to see it to Game 7 in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena.
Mark, this is a tale of two different teams. What we saw in the last two games of this playoffs is not what we saw in the first four. And if you look at how the Habs are playing, four man on the forecheck, pressuring the Toronto player. If one man fails, the next man's right on him, moving the puck out of the defensive zone into the offensive zone extremely quickly. They're playing to this identity that we thought they had. They're playing to this identity that they are, and it's just a completely different series at this point. I mean, both teams' goaltending has been phenomenal. You can't fault Jack Campbell. Carey Price has stood on his head all but one game. Montreal had trouble with their defense. Looks like Toronto is now struggling a little bit with their defense, and the big guys for Toronto are shut down by our defensive guys like Danault, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews. No points. It's really been the Spezza line. It's been Nylander, and he's kind of slowed down as well. So Toronto really needs to dig deep in Game 7, coming up on Monday night. They got the home ice advantage. Um, Losing three in a row is going to be tough. I know the pressure is going to be all over Toronto, but now the pressure's on Montreal because there's a thought that they can advance to the next round and play Winnipeg.
I
Um,
know. I think the pressure is still way on Toronto. Montreal's been playing with house money. Of course, they want to win. But hey, when you have your back against the wall, Toronto hasn't
Montreal
collapsed
puts
at a
Montreal
series.
puts pressure on themselves in these big games, and I think that's really playing to their psyche, right? When you have nothing, absolutely nothing to lose, like we saw in Game 5, Habs come out with a stellar performance, especially after a look like completely defeated in Game 4 in that third period.
Where were the
Habs
Leafs the first 50 minutes? We saw them bring up the intensity with the last 10 minutes of the third and in overtime. You can argue the Leafs deserved it from that perspective. But I mean, they're a more talented team than the Habs. We know that. Yeah, I think it's surely disappointing. For right reason, the pressure is on Marner and Matthews, the leaders, the guy who get paid the most money. Samir, we were hard on Carey Price. He makes 10.5 million. but so do Marner, Matthews, and those guys who make the big coin have to step up in
Yeah,
that critical moment.
they gotta definitely deliver the goods, right? I think that's obvious. Um, but it's gonna be a battle tested game seven. I don't even think we won three in a row. Montreal, that is, has won three in a row all season. So it's gonna be very very tough game. I am super excited for it. Watching the game yesterday, and that Habs fan in me was so excited. Mark, I was jumping and screaming all game. It was probably one of the most entertaining games to watch all season. And my boy KK comes through at the end, 3 goals. We've been calling him for in the lineup for this whole time. I think he's justified his position, Mark. We got. I know it's a little too late for Romanov, but that's a whole other discussion if they make it to the
Well,
next round.
that leads to a problem in itself. They were playing four defensemen pretty much most of that game. Kulak and Gustafsson got under 10 minutes. So that's obviously not going to change at this point for a key game seven. It probably is too late to bring in Romanov. At the same time, if you only need 8 to 10 minutes from him, I'm more concerned about the top four. Weber logged 35 minutes, Petrie logged 30 plus minutes.
It was 37 minutes for
They're
Weber,
logging huge minutes.
35 for Shero,
Yeah,
34 for Petrie, and 28 for Edmondson, with Kulak and Gustafsson getting 6 minutes each, roughly. Not a lot.
that's heavy minutes, big pressure minutes. That concerned me. They'll probably be able to hang in there for game seven, I would think. But if it goes into overtime, we saw the Habs had no energy. So they're gonna have to find a way to clear it out earlier. Ideally in regulation, that'll be a challenge, but that concerns me. Like I said, get a goal early. That always helps. But yeah, KK, if you could find another one that's 7 goals in 15 playoff games at the age of 20, if you could just keep that
Incredible.
going
Incredible.
into the regular season, it bodes well for the kid.
Yeah, and he did well in the face-off circle. So we're gonna have an amazing Monday leading up to the game. There's gonna be a lot of discussion, a lot of hype. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after to discuss who wins and who goes to the second round. Go Habs, go!
Let's go.